The men and machines you'll be watching in a moment are involved in more than just a speed contest. They're taking an active part in automotive progress. Oval is more than just a racetrack. It's a testing ground for advanced ideas in automotive development. Behind the men and their machines are some of the best-known organizations in American industry. Organizations such as Dean Van Lines, which by their participation in auto racing further the interests of highway safety. Here in the general offices, Dean Van Lines coordinates the activities of agents throughout the United States and in virtually every nation of the free world. Experienced administrative personnel process customer shipments, some of them destined to be moved just a few blocks, others thousands of miles. These giant IBM machines eliminate errors and reduce countless details to operations requiring only a fraction of a second. Dean Van Line dispatchers have the world at their fingertips, maintaining direct communication with agents in the United States and many foreign countries. Modern methods and scientific systems are given real meaning only when translated into personal service, a fact of which Dean Van Line's executives never lose sight. This is Mr. A.E. Dean, dynamic president of Dean Van Lines, who, through his far-sighted policies, has led his firm to its present position, one of the largest moving companies in the world. All of us at Dean Van Lines hope that you enjoy our picture. As a public service, we maintain a complete library of racing films. For further information, write Dean Van Lines, Long Beach, California.
The story begins a half-century ago. Racing history is made at the Indianapolis Speedway, and the era of the famous 500-mile race is born. The old days are gone. Everything is new and different. Progress has brought great changes to the Speedway. But one thing remains the same as on that eventful day in 1911. the kind of man it takes to get into a fast, powerful car and drive to win. The 1st of May signals the start of activities which climax in the famous Memorial Day Classic. Drivers and crewmen arrive from all parts of the country, for Indianapolis is the mecca of the racing fraternity. Now begins a time of testing, experimenting, and retraining. Cars are towed to the pit area, ready for their first easy laps around the track. The tempo begins to pick up. A feeling of expectation and excitement hangs in the air. And with the approach of the half-century mark, the realization of a dream lies within reach. The much sought-after speed of 150 miles per hour. In 1960, a rookie named Jim Hurtubise astounded the racing world by qualifying within a split second of the 150 mile per hour mark. Veteran driver and former national champion Tony Bettenhausen accepts the challenge laid down a year before. He tests his new car at a speed of 149.2 miles per hour, just a whisper away from Hurtubise's record. This sets the pace, and the search for speed begins. Rookie drivers make their first runs under the watchful eyes of USAC officials. Older drivers give counsel about the 4 tricky corners, puzzles that several generations of racers have tried to solve. The testing continues. Speeds mount higher and higher, and Russ Congdon discovers that the wall on turn 4 is very hard indeed. Then, Bud Tingelstad, in a search for speed, loses control of one of the 3 Dean Van Line's entries for 1 split second, and turn 4 begins to look like a giant tic-tac-toe game. The racing world gets a jolt as John Cooper of England brings his light rear-engine car to the speedway. In early tests, Jack Brabham, world road racing champion, drives a Coventry Climax-powered car around the Indianapolis Oval with ease. Speeds of 144 miles per hour are attained, and the car shows superior cornering ability. Harlan Fengler, chief steward, gives John Cooper a list of do's and don'ts, among which is a helpful hint about being sure the wheels are on tight. On turn 4 again, Dwayne Carter, losing a wheel, spins helplessly down the track as Don Freeland does everything but stand the car on end to avoid a collision. Cars are like individuals, and each one has its peculiarities. Another rookie is in trouble. Roger McCluskey woefully inspects his damaged car and perhaps thinks about some other profession. Then, real tragedy strikes. He was testing a car for a friend. They found a nut in one turn, a bolt in another, and further on another part of the car. Tony Bettenhausen was a real champion. He had more experience than almost any man on the track, a man loved and respected by his closest competitors. His career ended here, just across from the entrance to Gasoline Alley. The ribbon is cut, and the track officially opens for qualifications. Bill Cheeseburg drives number 14, Dean Van Line's number 2 entry, out from the pits and starts his run. But the dream of a 150-mile-per-hour lap is gone. Cheeseburg turns a respectable 145.873 for his 10-mile qualifying run. He pulls in, happy that his ordeal is over. Then Eddie Sachs, last year's pole position winner, takes off in the Dean Van Line's number 1 car. A confident wave, and he hits the bricks. A smooth and quick 4 laps around the track earns him the checkered flag. The speed, 147.481 miles per hour. In the pits, he gives the "we're in" signal. Sachs and Dean Van Line have the pole spot for the 2nd straight year. A.J. Foyt, 1960 national champion, pulls in. His run puts him inside on the 3rd row. Chief mechanic George Bignati begins to get the feeling that Foyt's winning streak will continue. Jim Hurtubise in car 99 qualifies for his 2nd race at Indianapolis, winning the outside spot in the 1st row. Roger Ward is no stranger to the Speedway. He won the 1959 race, placed 2nd in 1960. Officials and drivers wonder if Ward will come back for a 2nd win this year. His qualifying speed puts him way up front, inside on the 2nd row. Qualifying has its problems for some drivers. Rookie Don Davis spins in turn 2, recovers, and drives it away. But veterans have their problems too. Seattle driver Jack Turner spins in turn 2, makes a nice recovery, goes on back for 2nd. Master mechanic Smokey Unick puts the starter to last year's winning car. On the throttle, the man who drove it to his 1st Indianapolis win, Jim Rathman of Miami, Florida. He starts a run which assures him a solid position in the lineup as race fans keep busy trying to watch all the action. On Sunday morning, Chuck Arnold has no time for scenery. He's real busy. Nobody hurt. Everything is okay down in turn 1. Don Phelan allows them enough time to clean up things before he brings a new thrill to qualifying. And then it rained. Qualifying slowed up, for the magic moment of perfect track conditions arise for Lloyd Ruby. He starts out to qualify the car that Tony Bettenhausen would have driven. He takes the turns with ease and crosses the finish line with a blistering average of almost 147 miles per hour. So the field is full. The bumping begins. Happiness for those crewmen and drivers who made it. Surprise, elation, and a case of jitters for rookies about to drive their first big one. 2 of the 3 Dean Van Line's entries are in the race. The history of Indianapolis is well recorded, but history still lives today. With these hands, Ray Haroun drove this car to victory in 1911. Even after one half-century of racing, there still remains that awesome moment when race cars, in all their beauty and power, roll out to start the big race. "33 starters. Sachs and the Dean Van Special on the pole. Don Branson center. Hurtubise on the outside of row 1. Second row, Roger Ward, rookie Parnelli Jones, and Dick Rathman. Then comes Foyt, Sutton, Cheeseburg, Eddie Johnson, Jim Rathman, Wayne Weiler, and 21 others behind them. The fastest field in Speedway history, and each one a potential winner. The parade laps are over, and the 1961 Indianapolis 500 is underway. Eddie Sachs in the Dean Van Special leads from the pole, but Jim Hurtubise goes fast, pushes to build up his lead. The field strings out. Don Branson leaves the race, forced out by burnt valves. Bobby Grimm in the Thompson Industries Special goes out with a burnt piston. Then Hurtubise sacrifices his lead to make his first pit stop after just 36 laps. He has won over $5,000 in lap prize money, but 21 seconds here brings an end to his winning streak. Now, 1960 winner Jim Rathman moves into the lead, starts to press his advantage, but on the 43rd lap, Rathman is forced in for tires and fuel, and the lead passes to rookie Parnelli Jones in number 98. Bill Cheeseburg brings in the number 2 Dean Van Special in for service after driving in the top 10 all the way. Roger Ward comes in, signaling for quick attention. A few laps later, Parnelli Jones loses first place when he joins the others in the pits. Then Eddie Sachs brings the Dean Van Special into the pits, sacrificing the lead he has had for 6 laps. His well-trained crew, jump tanks on the scene, can ramrod 55 gallons of mobile fuel into the thirsty tanks in about 12 seconds. As Sachs pulls away, pandemonium breaks loose on the main straightaway. A ruptured oil tank on Don Davis' car sprays the track as he spins helplessly. A chain of accidents is triggered by a skidding car. The main straightaway resembles a large bowling alley where cars lie scattered like 10 pins. 6 cars involved. Shocked emergency crews rush to the scene. An accident of this magnitude was never expected. Jack Turner's car wrecked after rolling and flip-flopping sensationally in the air. McCluskey's car, number 22, wrecked after hitting Cheeseburg in the number 2 Dean Van Special. Shepard's car wrecked. Lloyd Ruby stops at the end of the pits after squeezing through the barrier of cars. A miracle indeed. Destruction for the cars, but no injuries to the drivers. Under the caution flag, the depleted field slows down, threading gingerly among the wrecked cars. Emergency crews clear the track. Len Sutton in car number 8 hits a slick spot on the track and just misses the cleanup crew, narrowly avoiding another calamity. Now Jim Rathman is out of the contest. He stands on the pit wall looking for a ride. Parnelli Jones, driving a terrific race in spite of a cut over one eye, broken goggles, and a sick engine, makes one of his 6 pit stops. Then Hurtubise comes in on his 91st lap. Starts out, but something is wrong. There is a fire in the cockpit. He bails out and the crew goes to work on the stubborn blaze as the rest of the field goes by. With the fire out, Hurtubise jumps in the car and is back in the race. A.J. Foyt is holding on to the lead, and there's a rabbit running against traffic in turn 3. Trouble still follows Jim Hurtubise. His engine blows up. In racing vernacular, he ventilated it. He comes to a smoking stop out of the race. Now a battle for the lead between the Dean Van Lines car number 12 and A.J. Foyt in number 1 makes racing history. Foyt leads in the 124th lap, but Sachs in the Dean Van Special passes, takes the lead in the 125th lap. Eddie Johnson in the Jim Robbins Special leaves the race abruptly in turn 4. Jack Beckley stands on the track wall, frantically signaling Wayne Weiler that his left front wheel is about to come off. A.J. Foyt had the lead on lap 138, but Sachs regains it next lap, holds the lead in the Dean Van Special for 3 more laps. Sachs' wife watches the pits, listens to announcements anxiously. Tension mounts. Then Sachs comes in for his 3rd and what should be his final pit stop. A.J. Foyt, for the 4th time, takes the lead from Sachs as the Dean Van Lines pit crew swings into action. The seconds tick away. The stop is over, and Sachs is out to regain that lead. His 3rd pit stop, and Sachs takes the lead. Foyt's crew jumps to their task. They have a winning car and driver to maintain, and here and now the race could be won or lost. Something is wrong. The fueling hose will not engage. While tires are changed, the hose is tugged, twisted, coaxed, but no fuel is forthcoming. Drop, and Foyt is away, back to the race, burning up the track for the lead, but with no fuel. A panic-stricken, disbelieving crew mills helplessly around. What can they do? Foyt still does not know that he is traveling light. Roger Ward, of Sachs and Foyt's close pit stops, now has the lead. But Foyt is burning up the track with his light car, doing 146 mile-per-hour laps. But it is Eddie Sachs who takes the lead from Ward. And Foyt, in car number 1, goes back to the pits for the missing fuel. The race is almost won for Sachs. He has only to maintain his lead to bring home a winner for owner Al Dean. All existing speed records fall as Eddie Sachs extends his lead with only a few miles, only 3 laps from victory, and Eddie Sachs brings in the Dean Van Special, a worn right rear tire. By his refusal to gamble or endanger other cars, Sachs passes the lead to Foyt. Eddie storms out of the pits. President Tony Holman gives Foyt the victory sign as he crosses the finish. Sachs glides through the pits in the Dean Van Special. Ward gets the OK sign for 3rd place. And for Foyt, a trip to victory lane. A rookie in 1958, a winner in 1961. A new track record with an average speed of 139.131 miles per hour. And a total purse, the largest in all Speedway history, of $400,000. For Eddie Sachs, second place, and a consoling purse of over $53,000. The first half-century is finished. The events and excitement of race day are now history. These beautiful cars, like those of yesteryear, soon become obsolete, as progress in fuels and engineering bring advanced ideas to racing. What remains? There's the memory of race day, the bands, the crowds, the traditional balloons floating in the sky. With these gone, there remains only the half-century-old bricks of the main straightaway.